My name is Tammie Reilly. I'm the Executive Director of GNAT-TV, and today I'm your host of In Studio, The Local Connection. I'm really excited to have Jill Turpin, who's the founder and promoter of the Green Mountain Bluegrass and Roots Festival. So welcome, Jill.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
joining me. We're going to talk a little bit today about the festival, the little history of the festival, how it came to be, and where we're headed in the future. So I'll just get started with a few questions, and
Great.
thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. So fun.
Absolutely. So, for those that don't know, give us a brief background of the Green Mountain Bluegrass and Roots Festival, what it's all about, why you decided to start it. I saw, we've talked before, and on your website you have your mission about community collaboration and inspiration. So, can you just talk a little bit about that?
So it's my husband and I, John, and I, who do it together. And we have been, well, we've known each other since we were 10, and we've been married for 20 some odd years. And we love music. We're both musicians, and we love this genre of music. We love all types of music, but this music really speaks to us, and it has for years and years. And we would go to festivals all the time in our younger years. And then when we had kids, we would bring them to festival with us, and mainly on the East Coast, but we've traveled as far as Seattle, Colorado, all over the country to go to these music festivals. And um, over the years, we just would think, gosh, we would do it this way, or maybe we would change something and do it this way. And in 2017, and we did house concerts here in New Jersey for years before we started the festival, and we got to know a lot of the bands that are with us at GMBR, and some of them have been with us since the beginning. And we started talking to them, like, what do you love about festivals? Or we go to a festival and go backstage with some of them, and they would be like, oh, it's such a bummer because my wife is only here, she's in another band, and she's only here for a day, and she's not here the same day I'm here. So we started thinking about how we would do a festival differently, and really like thinking about the artist, like what would the artist love, and how could we do a festival that's very artist centric to make them really happy. And then as audience members, as young people, and then as young parents bringing our kids, how would we love, like, what was important to us about festivals. And to just go back a little bit with bluegrass festivals, they're multiple day things, and often they're camping festivals. So we would go and camp for 3 or 4 days. And what did we love about the sites, and the infrastructure, and what was important to each audience member, whether you're 15, 25, 50, or 80. And we really started thinking about how we could do it to think about every single person that was at the festival, from the artist to the staff, and then, of course, to the audience and sponsors. And we just started keeping lists, and we went to a lot of festivals in 2017 to kind of gather information. And we just decided to throw our hat in the ring, and 2018 was our first year, and it was crazy, but it went really well. And we're incredibly lucky because we have the best staff that are super knowledgeable. They've done festivals before. They have a lot of history in doing big, big festivals. So we got very lucky in getting the right staff from the get go, and a lot of them have been with us since that first year. So that's kind of how it started, and it's just been wonderful.
That sounds like you've really built a community on all sides of it, and starting with the creators is really
Totally.
important, and that's really meaningful. And I think that will provide some longevity too, because you're really starting with the artists and the creators themselves and what they need to be successful, and then
Yes.
building in the audience experience with that. So,
Our idea was that if we made the artists really happy, then they would be psyched to be there. And then that would trickle down to the audience. And, happiness is kind of contagious. So we thought, that was a cool way to start, was really to think about the artists. And also, we decided from the get-go that we wanted to book artists that knew one another, because in this genre, the Americana roots music really started with people playing on their porches together. So,
Right.
you know, when we talk about collaboration, it's really very specific to this genre. And we would see all of these amazing musicians over the years playing and having like the most beautiful set on stage, and then off stage they're playing like around a bonfire with all the other musicians that are there, and that's really where you see the brilliance of these artists. I mean, you see it, they're all over, but it's
Yeah.
very cool to just see them jamming together. And it's a really, Americana roots music has a lot of the catalog of the songs are like very deep in history. And so there are songs that everybody knows. So, and you see this, in jamming, even around the campground. You'll pass by a campsite and they'll be playing a song that you'll know, that you probably know how to play too. So that's a very cool thing. They're playing from a catalog that is very old, and a lot of people know, which is why they can all jam together. So that's a big part of it too.
And that's really interesting. Can you, we'll talk a little bit more about the genre and the music, and then we'll get into some of the details about what's happening this year. Um,
Okay.
but for those folks that hear bluegrass or roots and they don't really know, like, well, I'm not into bluegrass, or I don't really know what that is. Can you explain? You did explain it very well, that it's rooted in history and there's a large catalog of music. Can you expand on that a little bit?
So basically, I think it's pretty purely about the instrumentation. So I
Ah,
think that the banjo, the fiddle, the guitar, obviously the upright bass. It's mostly acoustic music, and now bluegrass has really taken off, and there's a lot of crossovers. So like Mumford and Sons, for example, has a banjo, but they do a lot of electric as well. So I think that it, it's really about the instruments. So you'll find like a string band, for example, is guitar, mandolin, fiddle, banjo, and what am I missing? I think that's it. But and there sometimes that instrumentation changes, but for the most part, those are the instruments, and they are all acoustic, so you can play around a bonfire. You can play them anywhere. So I think that that's, when someone talks about bluegrass music, more than likely 99.9% of the time it's going to involve a fiddle, a banjo, a mandolin, a bass, and a guitar.
yeah.
So I think that continuity and consistency also makes the genre a little bit different than a lot of other musical genres, where you could have a keyboard, or you could have, an electric guitar, an electric bass, or but in general, this is what you'll find in bluegrass are those, instruments.
Well, that's
So I
wonderful.
think
Yeah.
that kind of carries
Yeah.
through through the genre.
Yeah, that helps out. That helps to that I can picture it in my mind. Really
Yeah.
like what it is. So, how many acts do you have coming this year? The festival runs. Let's see, it runs from the 14th to the 17th in Manchester, Vermont, at Riley Rink.
Yep.
Um, so, how many acts do you have coming this year?
We
And
have 23. And then we also have so we have one set of music happening at each time. So we have multiple stages, but we don't have them overlapping. And one of the reasons we're very, very true to that idea, and we don't, kind of waver, because what we have found is a lot of these festivals have like three sets of music going on at one time. And as an audience member, you like get your highlighter out and you're like, okay, at 4:15 I'm going to go see this one, and then I'm going to run and go catch that one.
yeah,
And we really wanted to focus the energy for the artists. And then, if we give, as an audience, give all of our energy to them, then it's going to be a better show. They're going to
yeah,
feel it, they're going to be happier. And also it gives us the chance to put on a lesser known artist because we believe in them and we know they're amazing, but the general audience might not know who they are. If we had them on with somebody else, at the same time, then the audience would be like, well, I don't know this person, so I'm not going to go see that. I'm going to go see that. And over the years, we do a survey at the end of the festival every year. And that's one thing that the audience really responds so well to, that they're getting to know new artists and new bands that they would otherwise not have known, and that we love that aspect. That's a really exciting thing. And then so we have our main stage, and on Thursday night we have our dance tent, which acts as shade in the daytime. But the dance on Thursday night is one of my favorite nights. It's obviously the opening night of the festival, but it's just a very fun energy. Everybody's standing and dancing, and we are specific about who we book for Thursday night, and they kind of have to bring that fun energy. So that's Thursday night, and then the main stage operates Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But then on Friday and Saturday nights, we have our lamplighter stage, which is something that is really special to us. There are two sets per night, and it's in like there's a little path that you take to get to the lamplighter field, and so you come out of this beautifully lit path, and then there's this little stage in the middle of a field. It's not high up, it's not a big stage, and we asked artists to host each night, and so there are two hosts per night, and it's not their own set of music. They get whoever their friends are that are at the festival currently to come do these sets with them. So it's the closest you can get to like a bonfire in somebody's backyard.
That's
And we do have
amazing.
bonfires out there, and it's a very intimate, cool setting. So the lamplighter stage is a really neat thing, but you have to be able to stay up late because
Yeah.
it starts at 11:30
Yeah.
and it goes to whatever,
Yeah.
1:32.
Yeah. So you do that.
So
That's great, and sounds like an opportunity for real authentic creation, and that you
totally.
can't script,
Yes,
which is
yeah.
providing that opportunity is really really cool. So you have lamplighter. So take us through the festival. You have the lamplighter stage and then the main stages, and tell us what else happens. You have the music, and what else can guests expect if they're watching this and they want to sort of get a preview if they maybe haven't been before? Like what can they expect for
Well,
throughout the
if they're
festival?
campers, so I would say about half of our attendees camp as well, and that's a really fun experience. I will say that our festival site, Hunter Park at Riley Rink, is really the ideal festival site. First of all, we love Manchester. We love the whole area, but for festivals, it's very often that they're in the middle of nowhere. And if you go, there aren't many hotels to stay in, and there's not that much to do if unless you're just at the festival. So when we started this, we looked all over southern Vermont. And my husband would be at his office in New Jersey on Google Maps, and my daughters and I would be driving around Vermont, and he would be like, "Okay, turn. I think I see a big field in there. Turn and see, what's going on there." And so we came upon Hunter Park from the opposite end, and I didn't know it was attached to Riley Rink until a local, told us later, and it just is the perfect venue because you come through Riley Rink, which most people know, and then you come, follow the little trail there, and you come into this beautiful 20-acre field surrounded by mountains. So you're in like a fishbowl of mountains, and it's 90% flat too. So it's a great camping festival. But if you don't like to camp, there are many beautiful hotels and inns that you can stay into, which like I said, a really unique aspect of festival life, that there just aren't that many festivals that are in the middle of a town. And so we love that for our audience. They can go out to breakfast and then come back to the festival and, be there for the day. We do have great kids activities. The Red Fox School has been with us for the last 4 years, and they are amazing. We love them. They're our neighbors at Hunter Park, so they're wonderful, and they do all sorts of kids activities from like, you know, 1 years old to like 7 years old. So that, it's a really neat thing that they do, all volunteer based, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then for the last couple of years, we have partnered with the Vermont Arts Exchange and Matthew Perry, who runs that, and all of his amazing artists and volunteers that are part of that organization. So they are on site as well, and they're doing so many different activities, and they have artists there doing art, while the music is going on. And we value them. We love them. They're, our charity of choice. So we do a lot of fundraising for them as well. And that's just been a really beautiful partnership over the last couple of years. And so if you are, want to come and in between music, you want to go make a piece of art, you can go do that. If, you want to take your child to the playground, you can walk to, the park right through Riley Rink. So there's just so much that you can do. Our food vendors are amazing. Most of them are local, vegan options, vegetarian options, of course, all sorts of typical festival food, but it's all local and organic and just really wonderful. And then we have a lot of crafters and makers as well, from mandolin makers to, beautiful clothing and jewelry. So there's a lot of shopping that goes on there
Yeah.
too. So there's just something for everybody.
A lot to see and do, and
Yes,
options, and it sounds like it's accessible to all ages and
absolutely.
styles of festivaling, right? Whether
Yeah,
you're a camper or you want to stay in a hotel, you can do
yeah.
that. So that's exciting.
And that's the other thing, when someone says, like you said before, I don't really know bluegrass music that much. It's it's a music that you can't not like. It's the musicians are so proficient and really wonderful at what they do. And even if you wouldn't necessarily put it on, at home or in your car, you can't not be wowed by it. It's really very special in that way. Whether you're 5 or 50, it does, or 80, it doesn't matter. It's a really, the musicianship is just incredible. And there are, I, I think 13 acts a day. But, and so, and most of the acts are an hour to an hour and a half. So if something isn't like grabbing you, you can, go take a walk or go down to the stream or get some food or do some shopping. So that's a really fun aspect too. The music is just, it's, it's just so pleasant that it's, everybody enjoys it, even if they're not like specific bluegrass people.
Yeah, that's a really good picture of what an attendee could experience while they're
Yeah.
there, and something about the live. I mean, there's nothing like live music, right? But
Totally. Yeah.
but it sounds like with this genre, it shines particularly in the live setting like that, and the way you have the two stages. So
Yeah, without a doubt. And so often, like collaboration, as I said, yeah, is part of our mission. And you will know an artist. Like they could be your favorite artist in the world, and you never know what they're going to do on our stage, because we book with 6 degrees of separation. So we book specifically to try to get this to happen. We never ask for it. We never, mention it, but we know these artists and we know that they love to play together. So there are so many guest sit-ins. There are so many, surprises that happen, so much so that we don't even know,
yeah,
and there's a tribute set every year, that changes every year. And this year it's a tribute to Neil Young and Emmylou Harris, and Christian Settlemeyer, who is an amazing fiddle player, kind of heads it every year, and he organizes it. So we pick, the artists together, like we pick who's going to be the tribute
yeah,
together, but it's such a surprise to us because we don't know what artists that are there, are going to play what songs. So we're just as surprised as, the producers and the promoters as the audience. So we're sitting there with our audience, like just as excited as they are to see what happens on the stage. So it's just such a, it just shows you how amazing these musicians are, that they can just, do this and do it so beautifully.
Yeah, I love that the way you crafted it, you provided opportunities for that creativity and opportunities for you as the founders and promoters to still be excited about doing this work, right?
Totally, yeah.
So that's like if you continue to be excited, then it's going to continue to grow and be successful. And I can feel that we're meeting on Zoom today, but I can feel that excitement through the Zoom screen. And so that's really something special. I'm glad you shared that with us, because that's really unique. It really is. So
I mean, at the end of the day, we are fans first. And I think I think that booking agents can feel it, we're not booking specifically because we think this artist is going to sell tickets. I mean, of course we think about that,
yeah,
like which artists are people loving right now.
yeah.
But we're booking them because we really genuinely love and respect what they're doing. And we can't wait. And our
Yeah.
staff is the same way. I mean, it is such a grueling day to do this festival for the staff and for us. And I always say, make sure you have a couple sets of music picked out, that you turn your radio off and you just sit, and because at the end of the day, that's why we do it,
Yeah.
because we just love the music so much. And John and I are surrounded by this incredible staff that love the music as much as we do, and that's what they do it like. It's our passion, to do this and introduce all of these great musicians to the public. And it's very rewarding.
I love to hear that. And it sounds like I looked at your lineup, and it's really quite impressive with some known names and some unknowns, like you said. And so that's really exciting, and it's eclectic and broad. And so it's quite impressive, the work you're doing. And we're really excited, to have you in the region, and to have you here and have it so close to home. Really for those of us that live here. So that's really exciting. And what time does it start on Thursday? When does it start and end?
So the venue opens at 2.
2
If you
p.m.
want to camp, the campsite opens at 10. And we're pretty careful. The whole like leave no trace. We're asking our campers to not show up before 7 a.m. because we don't want to cause a traffic jam or anything like that. So that's a big thing to note, and it's all over our website that people can't come and get in line at 5 a.m. because then it does really cause trouble for the main roads. But yeah, then so they come in, the campers start coming in at 10 a.m. and then the venue opens at 2 and music starts at 3. And our food vendors are going to be raring to go. Our craft vendors are going to be raring to go. So
So
it's
Thursday,
great.
really ready to go by 3 o'clock on Thursday, and then when's the close on Sunday?
6 o'clock on Sunday.
6 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah, ish.
Ish.
We
Yeah.
we let the last band is also a very special compilation. Michael Daves is a pretty well-known guitar player. He's amazing. And he came to us this past year. He's been to our festival many times, and he knows kind of what we love and the whole idea of collaboration. And he said that, that he was working up a set of kind of an iconic bluegrass album called Mule Skinner. And Peter Rowan was part of that, David Grisman, lots of other amazing musicians. And he said, would we be interested in having Mule Skinner as a set? And we were like, heck yes. So Peter Rowan, who, as I said, was in the original band, will be part of this as well. And it's going to be a tribute to the Mule Skinner album and a really special group of musicians are going to be playing on it, including Tony Trishka, who's an amazing banjo player, David Greer, who is a guitar player, amazing, Christian Settlemeyer as well, and Michael. So we're very, very excited about that. And that's the last set on Sunday. So
Yes.
we tell people, stay for that.
Yes.
Like, you want to be there for that.
Yes.
If campers want to stay Sunday night, we allow that as well.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to
Yeah.
know. So if there's some local folks that want to get involved, what's the best way for them to get involved? Obviously, attend as an attendee. You have volunteer opportunities, vendor opportunities. Most of it's probably settled for this year, but building it out just so folks know, oh, maybe I want to learn more about this or get involved in some way. What do you have to offer in that way?
I will say, since we started this, while our home full time is in New Jersey, we are in Landgrove, in Vermont as well, and that's kind of why we chose to do it in Manchester. We love, as I said, we love Manchester. It's a very special place to us, and the community is so special and so musically minded. And I feel like there have been so many people that have just come on board in the short time that we've done this. And I will say that there have been so many people in Manchester who, from the get-go, have, gotten in touch and said, I want to sponsor. I want to lend a hand. We had a woman come last year and she said, I didn't sign up to volunteer, but I just want to come and help. I have to work, later on in the day, but I have a couple hours now. I mean, it's things like that that just are just the most amazing thing and this is what the Manchester and, the greater Southern Vermont community does. I mean, we have farms calling us and saying, we want to help. Earth Sky Time, Bonnie and Oliver have been so amazing throughout our whole time. And this year they're helping provide food for our staff and our volunteers for the festival, which is incredible. But obviously they're huge music lovers and they have their amazing concert series as well. So they get it.
Yeah.
And Doug Hacker from Billsville concert series has been incredible as well. If anybody listening doesn't know either of these concert series, please go check them out immediately. And then I will say Paul Carocchio from TPW, another fellow musician, has been, jumped on board with us from day one. He's amazing. He's been an incredible supporter and like a roll up your sleeves, like let me pound some from fence posts. He does it all, and we're so grateful to him. And Bill Drunzik from Union Underground. The Union Underground does our bar, and that's really fun to partner with them. But Bill the Drunzik family has been amazing. Lana Halbin from MDO has been wonderful to us, and so many more. I can't, countless people from the local area have been wonderful to us. And I'll just say, if, this year we had a flower grower contact us and say, would you guys like flowers? I'd be happy to, provide you with flowers for the weekend. It's that kind of thing. If anyone has anything that they want to share with us, we welcome that. Like, I can't tell you, it's so special to us. So I think, as we share with the audience, the community has been sharing with us since the very beginning. And, that's anyone who, has that inclination and wants to get to be a part of it. We'd love to hear from them. And, we love that. It's collaboration just off the stage,
Yes, that's a great message. And it sounds like you're really open and willing to work with anyone in the community that has, wants to be involved in any kind of way that makes sense for them and you. And that's really exciting. And that's how you build it out. So I really appreciate you joining us, and we can share this with our audience for folks that maybe haven't tried it out, and they maybe hopefully will know more about you, about where you're doing it, about bluegrass and roots music. And that was really my goal today, to sort of explore for folks that maybe haven't participated directly just to talk about it a little bit. So,
Well,
Jill, thank you.
thank you so much. I always love talking with you, and it means so much. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So thank you for joining us today on In Studio, the Local Connection. We're talking with the people and projects that shape our region. If you have an idea that you'd like to talk with us about, please let us know. You can call us at 802-362-7070 or email us at community@gnat-tv.org. And again, thank you, Jill, for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.